Cambridge, Massachusetts, a city that sits at the crossroads of science and innovation, where laboratories hum with the quiet rhythm of discovery. It was here that a small biotechnology company, Scholar Rock Holding Corporation, was founded with one extraordinary goal: to give movement back to people losing their ability to move at all. While most pharmaceutical companies chase the symptoms of disease, Scholar Rock dared to confront the mechanism of decline itself, to prevent muscle loss before it ever begins. Traditional drugs intervene after damage occurs, repairing what has already broken. Scholar Rock's vision was the opposite: to protect the body before failure, to intercept disease at the molecular switch. The company targeted myostatin, a protein that suppresses muscle growth. Their approach was not to neutralize myostatin after it becomes active, as countless other therapies have tried, but to silence it before activation, when it still lies dormant. This is the biological equivalent of cutting power to a bomb before it detonates. At the center of this revolutionary strategy is Apitegromab, a first-in-class antibody therapy designed to bind selectively to the inactive or latent form of myostatin. By blocking activation at this earliest stage, the drug aims to preserve muscle mass and strength in conditions like spinal muscular atrophy, SMA, where muscles progressively waste away. Apitegromab's innovation is not in repairing weakness, it's in preventing it. If you're watching this as a short, tap the link below to watch the full version without interruption. The deeper story and the real mystery begins here. In 2018, Scholar Rock went public on the NASDAQ, an ambitious leap for a clinical stage biotech with no commercial product, but a bold scientific thesis. Then in 2021, the company delivered early proof. The Topaz Phase 2 trial in SMA patients showed statistically significant and clinically meaningful improvement in motor function scores. This was no small feat. Most Phase 2 studies in rare diseases focus on safety or biochemical markers, not observable improvement in movement. Yet Scholar Rock's patients moved better, a rare, almost unheard of result in the SMA field. By late 2024, the stakes could not have been higher. The company's SAPPHIRE Phase 3 trial reported success across its primary endpoints. Motor function gains were replicated, adverse effects remained manageable, and every metric pointed toward approval. Scholar Rock's biologics license application, BLA, was submitted to the FDA with confidence, and investors waited for what seemed a certain green light. But the company wasn't content to stay in the niche world of rare diseases. Its scientists had noticed something bigger: a potential role in metabolic medicine. As new GLP-1 based obesity treatments like tirzepatide and semaglutide became global phenomena, a quiet concern emerged. Patients were losing not just fat but muscle mass. The very drugs that made people lighter were also making them weaker. Scholar Rock saw an opening no one else had taken: muscle-preserving weight loss. The company launched the EMBRACE Phase 2 trial, combining apitegromab with tirzepatide. The results were striking. Participants preserved an average of 1.9 kilograms of lean mass, roughly 55% more than those taking tirzepatide alone, with a p-value below 0.01, proving the effect was not chance. For the first time, the industry saw the possibility of targeted body composition therapy, not just shrinking numbers on a scale, but maintaining strength and vitality while losing fat. By early 2025, Scholar Rock seemed poised for a historic dual breakthrough: regulatory approval in rare disease and proof of concept in metabolic health. The narrative was perfect, the science was sound, the data was undeniable. But then, in September 2025, everything stopped. On September 23, 2025, the FDA issued a Complete Response Letter, CRL. To most investors, that three-letter acronym sounded like failure, but what the letter actually said was more complicated and infinitely more mysterious. The FDA had found no issues with apitegromab's efficacy, safety, or clinical data. Instead, the problem was procedural: deficiencies identified at a third-party contract manufacturing facility in Indiana, specifically in the fill and finish process where the drug is sealed into final vials for distribution. For those outside the biotech industry, this may sound trivial, but within the regulatory world, it's seismic. Normally, such facility findings are handled before the final review during pre-approval inspections. When flagged, they are corrected, documented, and rarely affect final approval timelines. For a CRL to be issued after a successful phase 3 trial and for reasons unrelated to the drug itself is almost unprecedented. It was, by every standard, an administrative anomaly. Why did this happen? That question still divides analysts. Some point to the FDA's heightened post-pandemic vigilance on quality control after several global incidents of contamination. Others suspect a deeper issue. Perhaps the facility's documentation was incomplete, or validation tests were delayed by capacity strain across contract manufacturers. Scholar Rock, like many small biotechs, does not own its own production plant. It relies on contract manufacturing organizations, CMOs, to scale up its drug. The strategy saves cost, but sacrifices control. This structural vulnerability lies at the heart of the mystery. The drug worked, the data was clean, the need was urgent, yet approval halted because of a factory the company didn't own. For investors, it exposed a chilling truth. Biotech success isn't only about science, it's about systems. There are 3 deeper layers to this enigma. First, the paradox of excellence versus dependence. Scholar Rock achieved what few small firms could, a drug that worked. Yet, its fate hinged on external partners. The CRL revealed how fragile success can be when scientific brilliance depends on outsourced execution. Second, the distortion of time as an asset. The longer the delay, the less the market value, even if the drug's potential remains unchanged. A 6-month lag in FDA approval can mean millions in lost revenue and evaporating investor confidence. Scholar Rock's value, once built on scientific merit, suddenly hinged on logistics. Third, a structural warning to the entire biotech ecosystem. For years, the industry has favored asset-light models, outsourcing everything but discovery. This event exposed that philosophy's cost. Efficiency brings vulnerability. The very architecture of modern biotech, lean, outsourced, fast, now looks less like innovation and more like risk. For the biotech sector, this wasn't just Scholar Rock's problem. It was a signpost, a signal that the industry's future competitiveness would be defined not only by science, but by execution infrastructure, the ability to translate data into production and production into delivery seamlessly. Scholar Rock's management moved quickly. The company began supervising corrective actions at the Indiana facility, coordinating directly with the FDA to prepare a resubmission. Because the CRL cited no issues with efficacy or safety, analysts expect reapproval prospects to remain strong. Meanwhile, the company continues to build on its embraced success, positioning Apitegromab as the world's first muscle-preserving therapy in obesity care. But one fundamental question remains: how soon can science and bureaucracy reconnect? The gap between discovery and delivery, that last inch, may be the hardest part of the entire innovation chain. The drug is proven. The need is clear. Yet the system, not the science, holds the key. Today, Scholar Rock Holding Corporation, SRRK, stands at a crossroads. Its scientific foundation is unshaken, but its operational credibility will determine its destiny. If it can bridge the divide, refile, secure approval, and launch successfully, this will be remembered as a short-term detour on the path to long-term triumph. If not, it will become a case study in how excellence can be undone by dependency. Before we close, the ValueStir channel would like to hear from you. Share in the comments the public, private, or upcoming stock and cryptocurrency projects that deserve investigation. Your insights often lead to our next episode. We sincerely thank all of you who watch, subscribe, like, comment, and share these videos. Your support drives us to dig deeper, question harder, and deliver better analysis every time. This was ValueStir.